Hi, I'm Kelly DeMarco. I have lived in this community across the street from Weddington for 22 years. And I said this at the 6th restaurant when we met there this summer, and I'll say it again. Thank you. Thank you so much for bringing us all together and listening to us. You're doing a remarkable job. Your professionalism is amazing when people are rude on next door. I've seen it myself. My house has been put up there without my permission. And everything's gonna be okay, all right? If we can get through the construction that we've gotten through with all the various McMansions in our neighborhood, just give it a little more time. It's gonna be 2 hard years, and then it's gonna be over. My kids have grown up going to Weddington. They've loved it. They will continue to grow up going to Weddington and loving it, just in a different capacity. But thank you. Thank you so much, Harvard Westlake, for bringing us all together.
I want to say thank you for that comment, but I also want to say that I have appreciated the tone of even those who are most vehemently opposed this evening. I have felt that those who are expressing their views in opposition to this project have done so carefully, respectfully, thoughtfully, and in a way that enables this dialogue, this listening, this productive partnership that we're seeking. So I'm glad I'm not reading things on Nextdoor, because that might cause me to have a different reaction. But to those who have expressed dissenting views tonight, thank you very much for doing so in a way that is respectful and thoughtful and gives us much to think about.
Thank you. I'm going to call up a couple more.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Marika Surku, and I live a few blocks over on Ben Avenue off Laurel. I am a carpenter mom. I have 3 little boys, a carpenter, 5-year-old twins, and an 8-year-old. And looking at this amazing photo, I am so happy about this development and the project. It's going to be amazing for our community. I'm also a tennis player. My kids also play tennis at Weddington, and I've played before Harvard Westlake bought it and since. Nothing has changed, and from what everyone is saying and the plans, it will remain open to the public. Harvard Westlake on their Coldwater campus has had neighbors having access there for 25 years. And it is secure and safe. They've run background checks, and there are people in your neighborhood. Studio City residents will be able to use this. It's a beautiful project, and I don't see how everyone here can be upset. Condos are a horrible option. So I'm very much in favor for it, and thank you for all of your due diligence.
Just a couple small questions. I was curious about construction logistics. I didn't see too much of that in there, like timeline, where trucks would come in and out, just effects on that in the neighborhood. Is there wiggle room on the plans? Like, can the rich kids give up one field for something that we can discuss? I mean, you know, I sacrifice that, you let my kid, who's probably gonna be one of those, into the school. Just, you know. Can they visit the rich kids? And yeah, all right. So yeah, just construction logistics and wiggle room on the plans, or do you guys own it and you guys are being nice, but this is the plan no matter what? So those are my 2 main questions. The rest is just smart ass. All right.
I'm going to defer to my colleague David Wheel on the technical questions with regard to construction. In terms of the conversations that we're having here, that's why we're here, is so that we can wiggle together. It's an interesting image, but the idea, of course, is for us to present a plan that we hope will garner the support and the excitement of the community, and to understand those concerns that the community expresses and to figure out how we can address them. So we are not locked into what is on the screen. This is very, very early in the process, and we're eager to listen. With regard to construction, I'll turn it over to David.
Yeah, just a couple of on the construction. That's another component of what the city will require be analyzed as part of the application process. And the city will consider hours of operation, days of operation, and we'll look to find a solution so that whatever impacts that may result from construction are mitigated. The overall course of construction, it's still, as has been discussed tonight, relatively early in the process. We're estimating that from start to finish will be approximately 2 years. What we do know is that all construction vehicles will be able to be staged on site, so there will not be parking in the neighborhood from workers themselves, from construction equipment or support vehicles. It'll all be staged on site, and that we will do what we can when it comes to the usual construction aspects of sound and dust, and look to complete it in a way that is as efficient as possible. It's hard to get more specific on the recommendations than that because so much of it is recommended as part of the analysis that unfolds in that timeline that Rick displayed earlier.
But the question was, where are they coming in and out for construction trucks? What streets do they
Oh,
come in and out of?
if I may respond to that, yeah. So the haul route, which has not been analyzed, but there was a project that we had once proposed that looked at a very similar haul route. And it's my assumption that as that traffic analysis related to construction unfolds, that the haul route will be very similar, which would require all trucks to turn right out of the property, turn onto Ventura Boulevard, and then turn right onto Coldwater to enter the freeway access to go wherever they might. That is correct, in and out of Whitsett.
Hi, my name is Janine Milne. I was involved in representing the community in the Coldwater Canyon development that fortunately did not happen. I'm so glad that the middle school neighborhood really loves what you do there. I know that I listened for years to Hillside neighbors of yours that were very, very distressed by the uninvolvement of the school. When you first announced this project, it was going to be a practice field and a small building and a very small footprint. And it didn't turn out that way at all. So there's so many things to ask you guys about traffic and whatnot. For example, if you're going to keep traffic to zero, why not just shuttle all your students and leave the parking the same as it is? If the traffic is going to be the same as it is at Weddington right now, why build a big structure if you don't expect a lot of people or more than comes right now? The other thing is, what is the public access for this lovely river park that is inside the fence, that we will have access to the perimeter, but this is inside the fence, this 6 acres. So given school shootings, given all of that, I just don't believe we're going to be able to wander in and out and really utilize this. So I think that's a huge thing. You know, you keep on saying there's 6 acres available to the public, but it's inside the fence. And I don't understand how the public is really going to have access to it.
I'm out of breath. I've tried to share the ways in which we intend to deal with safety. My colleagues have joined me. The ways in which we intend to make the site accessible, both through a reservation system to the interior and through public access to the exterior. We've talked about traffic, and so I understand the concerns. I think that concerns about traffic, concerns about safety, concerns about access, these are valid concerns. And we have worked very hard to put a proposal before you that addresses these concerns and deals with these concerns. We have additional work to do and additional listening to do. But I think we probably ought to hear other speakers rather than having us go back through everything that we've said already. I appreciate the concerns.
Well, to build on that then, how will you be clarifying the reservation system for the interior amenities? I know now when I want to make reservations in the courts, it has to be within a certain window, 6 days in advance to book a court. How are you going to set up a system? Are you going to have an operator that picks up the phone to book the tennis courts? Will we be allowed to use the pool Do we reserve an hour to do laps? If I want to bring my children and kick a soccer ball around, do I need to make a reservation for that? How is that going to work, actually?
Thank you for that question. Much of what we're talking about in the way of ensuring that the schedule can accommodate the requests that come in is like you would experience in any public park. If you want to come by and play tennis, we need to make sure that the tennis courts aren't already occupied. Or I have children who play AYSO and Little League to make sure that the fields aren't in use by somebody else when I want to come by and throw the Frisbee. So we envision a process whereby you are still able to pick up a phone and call somebody, answered, or returned a phone call right away. If you have questions about when the various amenities are available, that will still continue to take place. We're also in the process of thinking through what an online reservation system might look like. So if you are away from a phone or just want to do something very quickly and make a reservation, you're able to identify what is available and make your reservation accordingly. As far as how far you're able to do that in advance, that's one of the nice predictable things about our athletic program. The school year is divided into 3 distinct athletic seasons. And at the start of each of those seasons, the entire schedule of activities is known. That's from practices all the way through games. The only unknown is whether we have any teams that will qualify for playoffs and later rounds. So you'll be able to go on to the site or pick up a phone and ask a question very early on, very far in advance. You mentioned the pool, and I know we're running short on time for this question, but you mentioned the pool. I'm the Chief Financial Officer. I'm also in charge of risk management. I do echo the comments that have been made tonight about being very sincere about our use of public access, despite my role as head of risk management for the school. The pool is in a little bit of a unique category among all the various site uses that are being proposed. And that's simply because of the level of supervision that's required to ensure that the pool is being used safely. So I would imagine that that particular asset is something that is not available as often as something like a field or a gymnasium, or certainly the tennis courts, only because it would be incumbent upon us to make sure that they're appropriately lifeguarded. But nonetheless, we do intend on, if you enjoy lap swimming or if you want to come by with your family, that you would have an opportunity to do so. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that is correct.
All right.